Please welcome Jessica. We're happy to have you here in Mexico again. So, you pass here.
Gracias, muchas gracias, buen día a todos y pues con el gusto de siempre compartir con mi público, con mi país, cada película es siempre lo que me motiva a seguir filmando y trabajando con mucho esfuerzo, esta vez con Jessica, bueno es la segunda vez con Jessica, con Isaac Hernández que desgraciadamente no puede estar aquí, pero saben que está con Despertares, entonces se le juntaron las chambas. Pero bueno, estoy muy orgulloso, muy contento y con mucha curiosidad de escuchar qué piensan de la película que acaban de ver.
Okay, so we are going to make some questions and then we're going to go to the press. Okay, so this first question is for you, Michel. We know that you wrote this part, the Jennifer's character, for Jessica. So this is your circle thing, you already said it. You have worked on together, so tell us about the process of dreams. Did you show her this script first, or how did it happen?
I'll tell the story of how it happened. Did you know the answer? Estábamos filmando Memory y en un corte a comer, sin habérmelo sin mucha planeación, de manera espontánea, se me ocurrió, la estábamos pasando también filmando, que quise proponerle algo y tenía esta idea desde hace años. Y así de manera espontánea en el corte a comer le empecé a contar lo que esta historia podría ser. No era para un bailarín todavía, pero no me dejó terminar de hablar Jessica. I'm saying you didn't even let me finish talk, and it was like, yeah, let's work together again. Especialmente cuando vio toda la parte política y social y la fuerza que la película podía tener por lo que representa. Y no le dio, you weren't afraid of playing, you know, she's never afraid of anything.
She's not.
But she wasn't afraid of playing a part that's, you know, that other actors could try to be less brave, so thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, for this. And well, your character, Jennifer, is altruistic. She lives in among public kindness, but also with a private desire. At the same time, she lives in a passionate relationship, and she doesn't want anyone to know about it. So, how did you find the balance in your performance? Special.
I'm so sorry I cannot speak Spanish. There's moments like this, I wish I could answer this question in Spanish. I think it was so important when playing Jennifer to find, I have noticed that usually the people who bully or wield their power in some way have someone else wielding power over them. And I found that aspect of Jennifer really interesting, and so the dynamic of the family is what helped me. The patriarchy of what that was. You know, when we first meet Jennifer's family, she's introduced as, you know, my beautiful daughter Jennifer, who's helped me all these years. Nothing about what she's ever accomplished or what she's done for the company. It's all about her as like a object, as a trophy. And so of course, if that's how she sees love to be, her father loves her in that way, she loves by treating someone else like an object or a trophy. But then she has to be, so I do think Jennifer does love Fernando in the only way she really knows how to express love. But what makes it very difficult for her is if she were to be public about it, I think she feels she would lose the love of her father. So that's how I created that whole dynamic.
Wow, that's amazing. And your performance, I think that you really did so great. Thank you for your job always. And what attracted you to still working with Franco? Because obviously, well, this is your second film with him, but obviously there's something there, like you love about him.
Yeah, I like telling stories that really make people question how they're living their lives. I love the character of Jennifer because it questions, yes, she could see herself as being a patron of the arts and taking care of others, but then at the same time, is she really? She's moving through a window of privilege, and I thought that was such an interesting idea to explore, that kind of philanthropy. We don't ever see that. I don't remember ever seeing that in a film. Michel creates stories that focuses, yes, it can touch on subjects we've seen before, but in a way, through a lens that we've never examined it. And that's why I like it. I also like that, and I like this for all my movies, that if you could leave the film and then go, I'm not sure I liked it, but I want to talk about it for a while to figure out why did it upset me. Because the reality is, if something creates some kind of turmoil in you, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. And that's what I'm interested in my life, in my personal life, in my acting, in the way I want to live. I want to constantly be pushed out of my comfort zone, and Michel does that.
Amazing words. So we're going to say the next question. How would you, this is for the two of you, how would you define that intense relationship between Mexico and the US as a kind of metaphor that can be seen in relationship between Jennifer and Fernando, that central couple in the film? Do you think it's like that metaphor? Yeah.
You should go first because then I can comment in Spanish.
But it's your film.
Yeah, but there's,
Okay, fine.
you're gonna be left out of it.
I can only speak to how I saw the character of Jennifer. I can't really speak to the overall theme. But for Jennifer, she's someone who comes from a lot of privilege, has a lot of money, and she uses people for her own benefit without really understanding empathy. Sorry to be so hard on her, but it's true. Like she believes she's being kind. Like even I love this scene, and I actually asked Michel if I could do this, where Jennifer's giving away her clothing. That wonderful actress, I forgot her name. She was so good. She plays the housekeeper in Jennifer's house, and it's just Jennifer thinks she's being generous, but she's actually being kind of classist in a way. And there's something always how she moves that she's above anyone else. So yeah, I see that relationship of Jennifer as, you could easily see that as the United States, with how the country that I'm from treats not just Mexico, but many countries around the world. There's a sense of, oh, I'm gonna look like I'm doing something generous for you, but in actuality, it's probably self-serving.
Wow, thank you. And for you, I want to know your answer.
Me interesaba desde hace muchos años, como les platiqué cuando le conté el concepto a Jessica, tenía esta obsesión, hacer una película que habla de la relación entre los dos países, pero a partir de una relación íntima. Entonces me centré en los personajes principales, en lo que sucede entre ellos. Es una relación pasional y muy tóxica, pero una relación de amor. Como Jessica decía hace rato, el personaje Jennifer realmente quiere al personaje de Isaac y viceversa. Y a mí lo que me interesa de la relación entre los dos países, pues es que nos necesitamos mucho y que no siempre las cosas son justas. El poder o el balance de poder tal y como se ve reflejado en la relación de estos dos personajes, pues va cambiando y tomando giros a veces esperados y otras veces sorpresivos.
Totalmente, y justo creo que lo aborda muy bien la película, el cómo nos necesitamos, ¿no? Hablando de la relación y cómo en ambos países también sucede igual. Entonces, Jessica, this is for you. What did you learn from the experience of working with a character who represents the privileges of the American dream in contrast to immigrant vulnerability?
did you say represents the image of the American dream?
Yes, the American dream.
See, I kind of feel the opposite about Jennifer. In some sense, I feel like Fernando is the one who represents the image of the American dream, like someone who comes from nothing and I mean, he's doing quite well when he stops dating Jennifer. He starts dancing in the company. His life is, he's picking up, and she kind of squashes it all. But for Jennifer, I mean, that's the problem, I think, in any country. Jennifer comes from privilege, so that's not really the American dream. I think I personally, this idea that if you you've come from low income, low education, and you're able to create something from your life, that is supposed to be the representation of the American dream.
Thank you for that. And well, Jessica, what is the most challenging thing about playing someone who swings between empathy but at the same time in control?
I think Jennifer is always in control. So I think she her ideas of empathy, maybe it's like mirroring. I don't think that things really touch her deeply because she has a boundary in some sense. I don't think she really is able to have intimacy with another person unless she can be in control of it. And I think because of that, you can't really ever be truly intimate with another person. So I played it that way. I mean, I think she desperately needs Fernando, but the actuality is she definitely should have let him go because she would have been okay without him and he would have been okay without her. But they were very toxic together.
Thank you for that. And Michel, what led you to focus on Mexico as a starting point in this story? ¿Cómo fue el que tal vez te acercaras también a que ese punto y empezara justo en México?
O sea, el inicio de la
Sí, la
película.
película.
Jugué un poco con las expectativas del público a partir de lo que creo que todos hemos visto en muchas películas que tienen que ver con migración. No sé cómo fue la experiencia para ustedes al ver la película, pero los primeros 10 minutos parecen algo que ya hemos visto hasta que llega a casa de Jennifer y puede entrar y de pronto está en la cama, y me interesó que entonces la experiencia cinematográfica pues no es la que hemos ya muchas veces experimentado. I'm saying that it's not the typical, like by the first 10 minutes you think you know where it's going to go, you've seen this film, and it's, as soon as they meet, it takes a total different direction. Por ahí va la pregunta.
Por ahí. Gracias.
Y bueno, me interesa mucho también mostrar que los mexicanos y los migrantes de todos lados aportamos a Estados Unidos, aportan más bien. Yo porque he ido a trabajar, pero vuelvo, no me he quedado ni creo que me quedaría allá, pero pues somos la gente que vamos de fuera a trabajar, creo que somos los que hemos hecho que la economía y que la cultura y que el país en general sea tan rico. Ese es mi just saying how migrants make America really great.
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Pues vamos a pasar con las preguntas de la prensa y sé que por ahí les dieron unas paletas, tienen por ahí la número 1, si alguien tiene su paleta número 1, a ver, ¿me puedes decir tu medio, nombre por favor y tu pregunta?
Claro que sí, muchas gracias. Rodrigo Peredo de Canal 22, Rodrigo Peredo from Channel 22, thank you very much. My question is going to be for Mrs. Chastain. First of all, you can say that Dreams is incredibly political, and that what happens in the story works precisely because Michel Franco aims to provoke reflection. From your perspective, as both as an actress and a public figure, what responsibility do you think cinema has when it comes to provoking in such polarized times?
Well, I love this question because I love being part of anything that provokes conversation and again, moving out of your comfort zone. And it's not everyone's choice to do it because I know some people don't like to be political and public about it. I've always been incredibly political my whole career. I see my work as a political act. I don't want to spell every move out that I'm making in my work, but I'm trying to, I don't know, create questions for us to look at society, to look at ourselves, to look at how women are perceived in society, and to question if we are part of the problem or part of the solution, or if we're in a healthy relationship to what that is. So I think it's, for me, it's everything. I definitely would not be doing this job if my work wasn't political. I mean, when I started watching cinema, I grew up loving movies. I watched movies every single day. There were not good representations of women. And Sigourney Weaver was my hero from Aliens. You know, that was the first time I saw a woman that I was like, oh wow, she's strong and capable, and she's like the women I see in my life. We're not fighting aliens, but there are other things happening. So I knew when I came into this industry that I wanted to create roles that, yes, sometimes the women I play do bad things, but that's because they're human beings. And men do bad things and women do bad things. And I want young kids to, maybe not young kids to see this film, but I want a generation to see my work and understand that women can be more than what the media has dictated in the past. So I'm super political in that way. I mean, and I love your president, by the way. I know we're not going to talk political, but speaking of women, awesome.
Y tenemos la paleta número 2, acá está el lado nombre, por favor, y también del medio, el que representas.
Buenos días, Chilango por acá, soy Liz. Felicidades, Michel, por tu película, muchas gracias. Y la pregunta es, Isaac Hernández es un bailarín, ¿no?, que viene del escenario, no del cine. ¿Qué viste en él como narrador corporal para tomarlo y confiarle el papel protagónico de esta película tan íntima? ¿Y cómo fue trabajar con él y, bueno, esta dirección a él como, pues, para actuar en este caso? Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Vi a Isaac en Despertares hace exactamente 3 años y en el cóctel que hicieron después de la función, ahí nos conocimos, fue la primera vez que nos vimos, y en el cóctel después sentí la confianza y yo creo que la mejor herramienta del director de cine es la tripa, y el instinto me dijo, él, aunque no tiene mucha experiencia actuando, es un histrión, y la manera en que manejó esa noche el Auditorio Nacional, que estaba completamente lleno, me pareció muy impresionante. Y ahí le dije más o menos de qué sería la película, que lo reescribiría para un bailarín, y ya el resto fue bastante fácil. Le llamé a Manolo Caro, que es buen amigo y muy buen director de cine. Habían hecho una serie juntos y me habló maravillas de Isaac en el set. Pero esta es prácticamente su primer película y bueno, darse un mano a mano con Jessica pues, es bastante impresionante y lo admiro mucho, lo quiero mucho, Isaac.
Perfecto, muchas gracias. Vamos a la tercera pregunta. Tiene por ahí la paleta, ya lo vi. A ver, nombre, por favor, y medio.
Eduardo Gutiérrez, del Grupo Fórmula. Thank you very much and welcome to Mexico. Congratulations for the film. Jessica, I would like to know for you, over here.
Wait,
In the middle, like with the lights.
Thank you very much. Well, I would like to know if with your work with Michel and with Isaac, you have a better connection with Mexico. How important is for you our country? And for the second part of the question is to know what women inspire to you as you wanted to send this message so important in these times. What women inspire you and why? Thank you.
Well, I love Mexico. I actually used to live here when I was a kid, not in Mexico City, but my grandmother had property in La Paz, and so I went and lived with her for a bit, and I love it. I can't even tell you how many times I've visited Mexico. I love the people, I love the food, I love the culture. Mexico City, I think, is the most exciting city in the world right now. I mean, New York is up there. I do love New York. But in terms of me visiting, Mexico City is the most exciting in terms of the restaurant scene and the galleries and the culture and people. I just love it here. So I have a very, very strong relationship with Mexico, not to mention mezcal and the like. Love it all. In terms of women, I mean, I wasn't kidding before when I said I really admire Claudia. I think she's so intelligent. And I was aware of her before she even announced that she was going to run. So, and I like what she's doing. So she's inspiring to me. Gosh, there's so many incredible. I mean, Catherine Bigelow is someone early on who really inspired me a lot. My grandmother really inspired me a lot. Just how she moves and navigates through the world. My grandmother, my mom, they worked really hard to raise children on their own, and they put everything into their children, and they're the reason that I was able to go to school and really change the cycle that my family was in. So yeah, I have a very, very strong connection to women because I just see us as superheroes.
Thank you for sharing, Jessica. Tenemos tiempo para una pregunta más que me parece que por acá de este lado está la cuarta paleta. Nombre y medio, por favor. Gracias.
Berenice Bautista, maybe. Welcome back, Jessica. I saw you in Morelia, so it's so good to see you back again in Mexico. So my question is that in the film we see scenes that are so familiar as a trailer, waiting full of immigrants in the desert or the deportations. But I guess I would like to hear what you think, you, Jessica, and Michel, about what's going on right now, because many times the reality surpasses fiction, and what's going on in the US with the immigrants, of course, talks a lot about this film and what we see in this story. Thank you.
I'll say it in English, so you... yeah, that's right. So you'll help me out. On one hand, I think that the relationship between the two countries has always been the same politically too. I think now it's discussed more and it's going in the wrong direction. But for me, even if politicians were before having a more kind speech, it was always the case. Now, what was interesting, speaking specifically about Dreams, when we shot, when people would read the script and they would see how Fernando was going to be deported, they would tell me, you know, this is not realistic. This is not what happens, or not the way it happens. Well, yeah. No, but not only that. They would also say like, like for all reasons. They would say this wouldn't happen. And I said, otra vez, no la tripa, but my gut feeling said, let's shoot it that way. And now it's downplaying the situation. It's so in that way, I'm happy that the film again asks the right questions and motivates conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very outspoken. So I think I posted a picture of me 10 years ago wearing a shirt that said, "We are all dreamers," which is interesting that the film's called Dreams. And I'm just way before we even met or even talked about doing this. So, you know, what's happening in the United States right now, yes, it's more out in the air and public and overt, but if I was thinking about it a decade ago, it's something that I really think has been going on for a while. And even though you said it in Spanish, and I can't quite understand everything you said, but you did say something about how immigrants are incredibly important to the fabric of the United States. It's what our country is built on, and when we as a country forget that, we get into a lot of trouble. I mean, I really don't know the right answer because there's so many conflicting opinions. I'm going to school right now, and I'm studying public administration, not to be a politician, but to fight politicians who I think don't do good things. So I don't know, maybe we'll see in the future if I can actually provide more assistance to the issues that we're facing.
Perfecto, bueno, se nos acabó el tiempo para las preguntas de la prensa, pero bueno, quiero recordarles que esta película se va a estrenar el próximo 11 de septiembre. Gracias por estar aquí, ya saben, de la mano de Imagine Films. Thank you, Jessica, for being here. I think that always your job is amazing here, so thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I'm super happy to be here.
Thank you. Michel, como siempre, nos haces cuestionarnos, nos haces enfrentarnos con muchas temáticas que abordas siempre en tu cine y me parece maravilloso porque hasta hay momentos en donde pues nos espejeamos, nos incomodamos, pero eso creo que es el arte también de crear cine.
Muchas
Así
gracias.
que muchas gracias.
Gracias y a todos muchas gracias, muy buen día y pues ojalá que Dreams tengan mucho éxito en salas de cine. Thank you.
Sí, vayan todos al cine. Así que muchas gracias y un aplauso fuerte a los dos, por favor. Y antes de que nos vayamos una fotografía de parte de la prensa, los fotógrafos se pueden acercar y hacer una fotografía. Así que
amigos.
sí, de lado, o sea, si se pueden poner, por ejemplo, ustedes que están aquí adelante, tal vez no tapar a los de atrás. Y ustedes